Hey guys, it is Friday afternoon. It's 5 p.m. on the East Coast, and that means one thing that it's cocktail time. So, hoping some folks are going to join us, but I have a half a bottle of Menage a Trois red blend out of the great state of California. That's how you do it. And we'll just pour a little bit of a glass of wine. It's been a hell of a week, guys. It's been a hell of a week, and I can't wait to talk to all of you about it. Kind of tell you what's been going on. You ever feel like the universe is sometimes conspiring against you despite all your best efforts? Well, the past couple of days have kind of felt like that, to the point that it's almost comedy, as things just kind of roll forward more and more. And it just seems to be that you get into one situation after another. I know one of the biggest things that's been going on for me. Oh, by the way, cheers. Let's get this thing rolling. So here we go. Mm. Okay, Friday afternoon. Uh if you happen to join me, if you're catching up on the stream right now, and you want to join me in the chat, just send me a DM, whether that's through Instagram or a text or Facebook or whatnot. And if I get it, I'll send you a link. You can come on and join me if you want, but we're just having a casual conversation. So, anyway, let me get back to the week. So, this week has been kind of gnarly for me. I noticed a couple of months back in the end of February, that my mortgage payments were incorrect, meaning they changed at the beginning of the year, and so my payment went up a little bit, as it always does. And what happened see, what had happened was my bank kind of screwed up, and so what it created was a shortage on each payment for 2 months. I didn't miss any payments, just a little bit short. And so what happens, apparently, is if that happens, they ding your credit report. So my credit plummeted quite a bit because they were showing delinquent payments. It's a whole mess. All I'm saying is I think I have it solved, but I'm in the process of fixing my credit report. I say all that to say this: mortgage companies can die in a fire. How's that sound? Um, the ability for humans to problem solve, listen to the facts that are being presented, and have the authority to actually solve any problems is a lost art. It's gone. Customer service representatives are not allowed to do that anymore. Escalation managers are not allowed to do that anymore. They just have to stick to a script. So after 6 weeks, 8 calls, 8 different people, 8 different stories, 8 different sets of resolutions, I think I finally have things figured out. The moral of the story is this: one, you have to advocate for yourself in everything that you do. Advocate, advocate, advocate. If you don't get the answer that you want and you feel like people aren't understanding you, advocate for yourself, whether it's healthcare, whether it's financial situations. No one is going to help you but you. So do it. All right. I say all that to say this: I love being in business for myself because I get to set the stage for what that customer service interaction is going to look like. Anytime that one of my clients has a problem, I work with them to solve it, right? Maybe they didn't like the way the retouching was done. Maybe they didn't like the experience. Maybe they loved, one part of it, but didn't like the hair and makeup, for example. My job is to make sure that every single client feels heard, is seen, and has exactly what they pay for. If there are issues, it's imperative for any business owner to problem solve and do the best thing for the client if it warrants it. I like being able to treat people well. It's sad that it's such a lost art these days. So, all that aside, that was kind of the big thing that's been hanging over my head for a while. Then I was driving down to Portland, my car decided to just start falling apart on the road. Now, mind you, I've got 230,000 miles on my 011 Xterra, and it's about time for me to get a new car, but I'm holding on to this bad boy because I don't have a payment and the thing runs great, except for the fact that the body's falling apart. It is what it is. Oh, hey, Nick. Didn't even see that you were there. Nick Humphreys is here. Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? Um, so car starts to fall apart, getting these weird sounds, these weird grindings. I had all my brakes replaced last week, so I thought it was something to do with that. I go by a mechanic last night and schedule an appointment for this morning and got it fixed. $50. My heat shield. Go figure. My heat shield just decided to start rubbing against stuff and making all sorts of loud noises. So outside of being embarrassed while I was driving around in my hoopty, I finally got it fixed for like $53, which is fantastic. I can't even complain. So Bennett's Auto in Bethel, Maine, they took care of me. All right. So we have that. And then I come home and I'm finding that my smoke alarm is just randomly going off because drywall dust in the air apparently sets things off. Yesterday was just one thing after another, after another, after another. Today has been much better. Couple of inquiries, couple of jobs. I was able to shoot a commercial job on Wednesday. I was hired by an agency out of Pennsylvania and the West Coast to help shoot at a pharmacy out here in Maine that is up for an award. So I went out and did the commercial shoot there. That was a great day. I just delivered all of those images today. Doing a family reunion shoot tomorrow night. I've got a lot of things lined up. And then next week, I'll be heading out to Arizona, to Phoenix, to attend Sue Bryce's self-value workshop. Now, you heard me talk about this in November. The self-value work that Sue Bryce has brought to the world is just absolutely essential if you're feeling in any way stuck or confused about where life is going or can't figure out why you're stuck in certain loops, whether that's relationship or love or money, body image, whatever it might be. It all comes back to self-value. So I'm heading out on Tuesday. I'll be there for a couple of days at this workshop. If you have any interest at all, please, please, please do yourself a favor. Head over to selfvalue.com. I don't get any kickbacks from this. It's just something that I believe in 150%. It has changed my outlook on so many things. Please consider going out to Phoenix for a couple of days. You will not regret this whatsoever. All right. Let me slow down and take a drink. So if you're just joining me, I'm just hanging out talking until somebody decides that they want to join me here on air. So I've got coffee, I've got wine, which is just a red blend. Ooh, it's the 2020 vintage of Menage a Trois, which was probably bottled 3 weeks ago, but it is what it is. What else is going on? I've got a lot of good things happening. The webinar that I'm doing, which is all about podcasting and teaching you how to start an audio show or teaching you how to start a podcast, everything from the marketing essentials all the way through the equipment and distribution, absolutely everything in between. I'll be giving that webinar on June 1st. Stay tuned for all of those details. It'll be a Thursday night, probably around the 7 or 8 o'clock time frame on the East Coast, so we can get some folks on the West Coast to join after work as well. And I've got probably 2 to 3 hours of content that I am going to go through. So if you're starting a podcast or thinking about it or just want to improve the one that you're already doing, you will want to attend this. All right, enough with all the sales stuff that I'm doing with the self-value and then also with the podcast. Well, no, not done yet. Clicks to Flicks. Clicks to Flicks is the name of the video course that I am producing. You can go to clickstoflicks.com and sign up there. So when it gets released, you'll be the first to know. A lot of that thing going on. What else? The Generator podcast. I finally, a year later, we're coming up on the 27th is a year since I released the episode with Nina Covington. And I can't believe that I've been doing this for a year. Now, truth be told, I only did like 2 episodes last year, but I'm on board. I've got the Instagram account at Generator Podcast. Go give it a follow. I would really appreciate that. Trying to spread the word. I really do want to get this thing going. I've been on hiatus for about 3 or 4 weeks, but that is nothing other than life happening. So there's been a lot of stuff in the works, and I'm really excited about getting Generator off the ground, even more so than it already is. I've talked to Nina Covington, Erica Manning, Parker Pfister. I did an episode from WPPI, Shannon Doherty, Sarah Rocca, Dennis Dunbar, Nicole York, just all over the board. Brian Simpson, Carrie Roseman. I've done a lot of amazing interviews with incredible creators, and I can't be more excited to continue that. I'm really loving doing a lot of this. Now, with that comes a request for you guys. Who do you want me to talk to? And besides psychotherapists and the like, who is it that you want to hear from? Got a whole lot of folks lined up, and I'm going to start recording when I come back from Arizona. So you'll start to see some new episodes rolling out regularly. I'm really targeting once a week. So if there are folks that you want to see or want to hear from, because I do both the audio and the video, if there is someone that you want to hear from, let me know. And I'll track them down and see if I can't organize a time to get them here on the stream with me. So with that, let me know what you guys are doing. Yes, Doc, I'm so bougie with that 2020 vintage. It really is just chef's kiss. It is, I like the bottom of the barrel. That's where the good fruity stuff is. And this is pretty much what I'm drinking. But it's good to see you, Doc. It's great to have you in here with me and finally hear what's going on. Send me some notes, guys. If you're on Facebook or you're here in StreamYard or wherever you're watching, YouTube, whatnot, send me some comments. Let's get some conversations going. I'd love to hear what you all are up to. I'm trying not to look at myself and just look more at the camera, but you see my eyes darting around, it's because I have this 49-inch monitor in front of me. And so I literally have to turn my head to go from one end to the other. Maybe I should sit a little bit further away. What do you think? All right. What else has been going on? It's warm here right now. Finally, spring is hitting, but it did snow 2 days ago. There's a weird freak squall. So if you're thinking about moving to Maine and you don't mind a little bit of snow in May, come on up. There's plenty of room. We'll have you. All right. What else? I was looking at the software that I use to podcast, Captivate. Now, one of the biggest things that people ask me about kind of doing all this stuff is like, do you make any money doing it? Have you monetized this at all? And I personally have not. Well, on both counts, I have not made any money, nor have I monetized this. I'm at the point where I'm still trying to work out all the kinks, get everything looking right and sounding right, and getting the flow down of how to conduct the podcast. Should they be longer? Should they be shorter? So I'm playing with all of that. The software that I use for distribution is called Captivate. Now, Captivate.fm. Captivate is great because it's kind of like an all-in-one platform. You get the website, you get all the tools that you need to upload episodes to Apple and Google and Spotify and all the places. But they just added some features in that I literally launched, I think, yesterday or today, that is all about monetization and being able to make it easy for sponsors to monetize and give you money for what you're doing with the podcast. So just get the podcast sponsored. They also have tiered levels, think Patreon or Kickstarter, where you can have memberships to your podcast. And that got me thinking in about 900 different directions about what I wanted to do with this. One of the things that I've always thought about Generator is the ability to bring people on, friends, people I don't know, that are artists, that are creatives, that don't get the recognition from the bigger podcasts. Everybody needs a platform. Everybody needs a platform, especially if you're in the creative arts in any way, shape, or form. I want to bring those people onto the show, right? I've interviewed a lot of photographers, but I want it to be more than that. I have social media experts. I've had retouchers. I want to get some backdrop painters. I want to get some financial experts. I want to get some, woo woo therapy folks on. I want to get all my friends from the outdoor industry. I'd love to get you on here and talk a little bit because everybody's a lot more interesting when we can have that good, long, casual conversation. These are not scripted interviews, these are not driven to a certain point. They are just long, casual conversations. I just talk because I'm capable of it. And you'll find that in all of the episodes that are on Generator right now, they wander all over the place. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're deep, sometimes they're dark, sometimes they're enlightening. But any way you slice it, it's always a really, really good conversation. I try to handpick really interesting people. So, what do you guys have going on this week as I take a sip? Anything in particular? No? Mm. Ah. So, for me, I know things have been a little bit weird. If you're a photographer like me and you've been hitting a little bit of a wall, it's pretty normal. What I'm realizing anecdotally from across the industry is that things have been a little bit down this year. This is not me promoting negativity. This isn't me saying, oh, woe is me. I'm still running the business just fine. But I've noticed across the board as I do comparisons between last year or 2020 and all the way up to now, that year over year over year, things are getting a little bit weirder. As Pratik says, just trying to keep up with the news. Dude, I hear you, man. And I know your love for AI, right? I'm going to tangentially shoot off to the side here while Pratik and I talk. So the AI components, right? I've been teaching people about AI and prompt engineering and using Midjourney as well as Chat GPT and getting people started in all of that. Guys, it's amazing what AI can do. And I'm not going to turn this into a big AI conversation, but it's amazing what it can do. It's amazing how it's helped me. But I'm less concerned about Skynet happening and the robot dogs taking over. What I'm concerned about is dependence on a tool that is going to make us a little bit dumber day by day. What I mean by that is Chat GPT has the capability to make everything really easy, right? I'm creating a lot of social captions that I write and then I throw into Chat GPT, have it rewrite it in a different tone, maybe add some things, maybe, move some things around. I love using it for that. I love using it to give me ideas of how to create images for mood boards, right? All this stuff. AI is fantastic. However, dude, there's this dependency that we're starting to create amongst the nerds, those of us that are using it a lot. I'm worried that in doing so, we're going to create homogenized sounding content that everybody will understand is kind of created by AI. A lot of it sounds the same. Some things, let me see if I can't. If that glitched out on you, but all I'm trying to say is with AI, I realized that I was getting really lazy with it. It'll be interesting to see how many people do get really lazy with it. So if you're a follower of AI, if you're using it at all, let me know what you're using it for and how you're using it. I'm not sure why I'm glitching so much. If you happen to see this, it's real choppy on my end, but I'm going to shut a few more things down. Cool. But yeah, Pratik, all of the news that's coming out. Speaking of news, Capture One, I just got on their beta for iPhone tethering to Capture One. So I'm doing it wirelessly with the Fuji H2S. You can do it tethered as long as you have a USB to Lightning connector for the phone. But having the Capture One iOS beta running has been great. Doing a little bit of testing. Once you kind of get things connected wirelessly, it is not nearly as fast on the Fuji. It is not nearly as fast as using the native file transmitter and using that with Frame.io camera to cloud. But it is great proof of concept that you can tether wirelessly to your phone if you're in a situation where you need to do that. It is not at a point where it is, it's stable or ready, but this is all proof of concept, hence beta. And I'm going to play with it a little bit. I'm not a huge Capture One user. I use it in certain circumstances, mainly on commercial work, so that art directors or anybody that's watching me shoot can have good visuals of what's being shot and can provide input on the fly. But doing it on the phone may allow me, with my really shitty eyes, to be able to see things a little bit better. One of the things that happened on the commercial shoot earlier this week was I did not have something set up. We were working in a working pharmacy, so business didn't stop. We were just shooting around it. And I noticed that as I was shooting, we've got fluorescent lights, we've got ambient light from the outside. Every wall is painted something different. The lighting conditions were less than ideal, let's just say. And I did not have the capability to set up lights everywhere and really position things. This was all run and gun, lifestyle, action type of stuff. So, in looking through all the images as I edited them and called them for the art director, I realized that it would have been helpful for me to have a larger screen. Even though I had my eyes and I was checking focus and whatnot in here by zooming in, still, when you're shooting and shooting and shooting, you're going to miss some shots. You're going to miss some focus. The lighting might not be right. Your shutter speed might not be set to sync with the fluorescence very well. So you get a little bit of banding if you're using, let's say, an electronic shutter. Nerd, right? But I'm going to keep trying to use these types of wireless tethering to see if I can't make it easier for folks that are watching me shoot, see what's being created. So, all right, there's that. So we've covered problems with mortgage companies, cars falling apart, AI, commercial shoots, podcasting, Instagram accounts. Now, what else is going on? As I move forward, and we also talked about the whole podcast, as well as the video courses that I'll be rolling out soon. So, yeah, the Capture One iOS. So, Pratik, I have a problem with it. After being out at WPPI and seeing the Fuji demo, right? I don't want to say I've been working with Fuji. Let me roll that back because that's going to sound way bigger than it is. I've been following Fuji and talking to their reps quite a bit. And their integration with Frame.io and how they're doing camera to cloud is really interesting. With the file transmitter in like the H2 and the H2S, the speed at which it transmits goes up to the cloud and then is displayed either on SmugMug or in, let's say, Capture One or Lightroom or whatnot. Once that entire circuit goes through the camera to Frame.io, then to whatever program you're using, is fascinating to me. I hate being in the studio, having tethering cables, knocking things over. I've smashed laptops, I've dropped cameras, I've dropped lenses, and I've always looked for a good wireless solution. Now, there are things out there like Cam Ranger that you can add in, put it in your hot shoe, and it kind of does that wireless transmission. And it works great. I didn't want that solution. I wanted, as the technology gets better in the cameras and in the phones and the devices that I'm using, I want them to all work together natively. So in seeing what Fuji was doing, I really want to explore that Frame.io collaboration. I've used Frame.io. If you don't know what it is, it's now an Adobe product, but it was a startup a few years ago. And I was using Frame.io primarily for revisions with video clients. So I would upload a video that I was producing, whatever commercial, and they'd be able to give me frame specific feedback on Frame.io. fantastic product, fantastic product. Well, they got bought out by Adobe not too long ago. And so all of that's been getting integrated into the Adobe ecosystem. Now, what I saw Fuji do at WPPI was they get their $1,000 file transmitter battery grip that goes in the bottom of, the X series or GFX. And this is the H2S. I've got an XT4 up here, right? Big into the Fuji ecosystem. But you get that battery grip and take the picture, goes to Frame IO, shoots it back down. Cool thing is, I saw them working with AI. I think it was Imagine AI that was doing on the fly color correction and adjustments, whether it's shadows, exposure, highlights, whatnot. It was doing that based on your input automatically. Okay, so think this through. If you're shooting an event, I'm not talking a wedding, let's say, or maybe even a wedding, but say you're shooting an event and you want to either get same day edits, you want to do a same day reveal for this corporate event, right? And you want to do slideshows. Well, here's the ability to shoot, get them to your team who can be assembling all the shots as you're putting them into the cloud. They come down, they edit it into a slideshow, and it's near real time. That to me is fascinating. Thinking about what I do as a portrait photographer, being able to shoot and have it transmit to a 55-inch TV that I can then really look at and check out focus, understand my lighting a little bit better, is going to be fantastic. Again, I don't like using wires. Let's make everything connect wirelessly. The difficulty is the speed just sucks right now. So regular Wi-Fi just doesn't work well on the Capture One iOS to my Fuji. It's just slow. It is what it is. They're on the same network. I've got great bandwidth in my house. It's just a slow process, right? It's shooting over the RAWs, it's shooting over the JPEGs. If I was only shooting JPEGs, I'm sure it would probably be faster. But with the resolution and shooting RAWs over, it's going to take some time. So hoping that will advance going down the line. Hopefully that will get a little bit faster, because this could be fantastic as more and more of these cameras are able to connect wirelessly, right? They have their own apps that kind of suck, but being able to connect natively to Capture One, being able to connect natively to Lightroom without the need for any sort of USB-C cables or USB cables at all would be amazing for me. My studio's decently large, about 1,500 square feet of shooting space. So I'm bouncing around from shooting bay to shooting bay. I don't want to have to wheel a table or a cart over to every shooting bay all the time. I want one central screen. I want to be able to shoot. I want to be able to check on things. It's not for the subject that I'm shooting. It's for me and my team. So I think it's going to be a really, really cool system once it becomes ubiquitous like Bluetooth, right? So a couple of questions here. So Max saying, besides the actual wire, what's wrong with the speed of it? So as I shoot, Mac, I shoot a lot. I'm shooting portraits. I'm always looking for that in-between moment, right? Where somebody happens to laugh naturally or have something flash behind their eyes. I love capturing those in-between moments because that to me is the real humanity. In order for me to do that, I shoot quite a bit fast. And I want to be able to make these edits or change my lighting or change the setup or change position, change focus as quickly as possible so that I can course correct and get back to shooting, not to get sucked out of it while I sit there and go, all right, we just got to wait for some of these pictures to come in. When you're working on a commercial set, things tend to go a little bit slower. You take a shot, you look at it, you figure it out, you take another shot, you figure it out, so on and so forth. When I'm working with my clients, it's a much faster pace because it's just me. So yeah, besides the actual wire, I mean, the wireless is just too slow for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just full of caffeine and Adderall and I have no patience anymore. But Honestly, I just want near instantaneous from camera to device, right? A couple of seconds is fine. I don't want to wait. I was counting. It was taking 30 to 45 seconds for things to transfer over. For me, that's too long. I don't want to wait 30 to 45 seconds for an image to transfer. It is faster when it's wired right now, but I want the convenience of wireless tethering. Um, Large is huge, and I'm guessing you mean the either the TV that I was talking about or the battery grip. The battery grip for the Fuji is a decent size. No, not really bigger than any other battery grip that's out there. It just costs $1,000. There are cool things you can do with it, right? It does wireless tethering, it does regular tethering, it holds a couple of the Fuji batteries in it, but um, $1,000 in a battery grip is just more than I want to spend right now. I'm going to get it without a doubt. It's just a matter of when. And then Sicila says, Hi. Hi, Sicila. I hope you can join. If you want to join me, just drop me a note. I'll send you a link and we can talk here a little bit. So, Kristen, what's the weight on it comparatively with the grip fully loaded? I don't have the battery grip here. I was just looking around to see if I had the one with my Canon. I mean, if this is the Fuji H2S, the battery grip's going to come down to about right here, and you get two batteries, Fuji size batteries, which are these. You know, you get two of those in there, right? So it's a chunky little boy, but it's not unwieldy. It's just like any other battery grip that's out there. It just tends to have it has this wireless capability in it. Mac is saying, Roger, I play golf fast. I want to walk, look, take aim and get on with it. So many folks. Totally. That's it entirely. You're nailing it with the buffering mode. Don't sit there and waggle your club. You're not that good. Just walk up, know what you're going to hit the ball. Just go. I'm with you on that, Mac. 100%. So similar to a 5D Mark III ish. Yes. So I know, God, I've got it somewhere. I keep looking around. I've got the battery grip for the 5D3 that's sitting on my shelf up here. I've got that sitting around almost exactly the same size, right? Comparatively speaking. Now, it's only Fuji that has the wireless transmitter right now that does the faster wireless transmission to frame IO. It's all natively built in. And it's even in the firmware of the Fuji, it says, connect to frame IO. That's pretty badass. However, with the Capture One iOS integration beta that came out that I just accessed today, I don't need the battery grip on this. I can just use the built-in Wi-Fi of the camera to connect to the same network that the phone is on and have it show up in Capture One. Very, very cool. Just a little bit slow for me right now. Hopefully, that will improve over time, whether that's with router technology, whether that's with the chipsets or the radios that they're putting in cameras. But I think if you're shooting Canon's already wireless, like the R6s, the R5s. You can do that with the Capture One iOS. I keep shaking my phone like you guys have to see this when I talk about Capture One for the iOS. It's stupid. Oh, and by the way, Pratik, if you're still on the thing here, I've got Chat GPT on my home screen now because of you. Thank you very much. So yeah, the wireless stuff for me is super cool. I know that if you're a Capture One user, it's a no-brainer. I'm really not that heavy of a Capture One user. I didn't get Capture One for the iPad, but this intrigued me, right? I've always got, there I go again, fucking lifting the phone. I've always got this on me. So being able to shoot even out in the field and to be able to connect them and then be able to look at them, zoom in a little bit more so than I can on the phone. I don't know. Is it a gimmick? It could be, but right now I'm excited about the possibilities. So for me, thinking about how I want to shoot, the types of shoots that I do, I'm doing a family reunion shoot tomorrow night, right? And I think it would be cool to be able to quickly be able to review wirelessly. So I don't want to have big orange tether cables all over this woman's house to be able to shoot it, look at it on my laptop, look at it on my phone, whatever it is, and have it be easily accessible for me. That to me is awesome, but not everybody's like that. So ha ha ha, success. Yes, man. If you guys don't know Pratik, and I don't know who doesn't, but bleeding edge of technology, right? Fellow nerd, love it. But if you want to stay up to date really on AI, especially in the creative world, join his group, AI Futurists, on Facebook. Really fascinating stuff. I'm watching all these incredible artists come up with new ways to use Midjourney or Dolly or Stable Diffusion or Chat GPT. There's one guy, and I forget his name, maybe Pratik, but he's doing 3D renderings now out of Midjourney. And essentially what he's doing is playing with Midjourney prompts to create an image that will then yeah, thank you. I appreciate it because I can't remember group names. It's the Futurists, AI Art Creatives. Yeah, go join this group. If you're interested at all in becoming a better prompt engineer, right? I'm going to put that on my resume somewhere. But if you're interested in really what's going on with Midjourney and some of these other applications, join that group, because it really is a hive mind of brilliant people that are doing some incredible things. Really cool to check out. So, like I said, he's doing these 3D renderings, and I was like, holy shit, how's he doing the 3D? Essentially, what he's doing is creating these images, playing with them till he massages it and gets the image that he likes, bringing it into Facebook using their 3D filters to set that kind of strange depth of field. And the impact is really striking. So I haven't started playing with it yet, but man, oh man, like I love thinking in that way. The same way people were using Midjourney to create like flip book stop motion type videos. Shut up. It's amazing. The first thing that I think is, how many frames did they have to create, and variations and upscalings did they have to go through to create images enough for 24 30 frames a second to create a video? That's a lot of images. I do like 5 and I get exhausted on Midjourney. But fantastic AI programs out there. I was diving in. I went through a thing for a couple of weeks where I was trying all these different AI tools because they have them for video creation or editing. There's one that does automatic podcast editing, like multicam editing, cutting out dead spaces, switching camera angles. It's phenomenal. And I think it's like Infopod or something to that effect. And it works with like Adobe Premiere. I don't think they have a Final Cut integration yet. But there's amazing tools that are coming out that, again, are going to make things incredibly efficient. But I worry about dependency. Because humans are lazy. And I want to make sure that we retain a little bit of our creative edge, so that we can keep pushing AI in the right direction. All right. What else is going on? Enough about AI for now, unless you want to talk more about AI. I was teaching my buddy about Chat GPT the other day, and just kind of showing him the ropes as he starts to use it in his digital agency. Learning different tools and learning how to explain certain things. I love being able to use Chat GPT to just rewrite stuff. So I was showing him how to do that. And the biggest thing for me to remember about Chat GPT is it's meant to be a chat. Talk to the bot, right? So you don't have to use it like search. We're so conditioned to use Google and Alta Vista. We're so conditioned to use all these search engines that we have ingrained the way that search works in our lives. Well, when I'm asking my friends, having a conversation with them, did you guys hear about this or did you see this? They respond to me. That's how I interact with Chat GPT now. I'm asking it, hey, please, can you rewrite this in the first person? Make it a little bit more informal. Don't use any emojis. Focus on this aspect of it. And if he says, in my world, Chat GPT is a guy, right? Some nerd sitting in his mom's basement. That's how I think of it. And so I talked to him like, can you please rewrite this? Because I always want to be polite. And then I thank it. I don't know why I do these things. I don't know why I anthropomorphize an AI chatbot, but I do. So it helps me not get completely freaked out that I'm talking to a computer and having it talk back to me. I just like to think of it as my really, really smart friend, um, way smarter than I am. And I thought I was good at copywriting. I suck at copywriting uh, because now I can use ChatGPT to lean on and rewrite everything. Ha ha ha! That's a blast from Alta Vista. I was trying to think of some of the Ask Jeeves. Was that another one? What are some of the old search engines? Ask Jeeves was one that just always weirded me out because they had that Butler logo. I don't know. And then I do the same. Always be polite. If someday we are overruled by the Skynet, by the robots, I want them to remember that I was always polite, that I was always the cool guy, and that there's no need to electrocute me or remove me as a battery from the matrix. Just let me sleep alone in my pod powering whatever is going on out there. Oh God, Lycos. I forgot about Lycos. We're kind of going back and forth between AI and search engines. I like this chat that's happening. Yes, exactly. Better safe than sorry. Man, the robots that like Boston Dynamics is putting out, the ones that freak me out are the dogs, right? Because those are the ones that are already being used by cops. Those a Belgian Malinois is bad enough as it is, right? These little fur rockets that take people down. But now throw batteries and hydraulics into those bad boys, we're done for. So I'm just trying to get me GeoCity's website back. Dude, if you do that and you put some of those moving stars behind all of your text, I will love you forever. I will subscribe to whatever it is that you put out. They're already putting Chat GPT into the dogs. I'm a little worried. Yeah, no, for real. Like, I can barely get my dog to do sit, stay, come, paw, roll over, that sort of thing. I don't want to get into a philosophical argument with a robot dog, say the wrong thing, and then suddenly everything from my neck up has disappeared or vaporized. Just don't want that. So it'll be interesting to see how this all goes. Now, you're going to hear in the news too that all the AI, engineers and developers are warning government against, AI going too far, too fast. You get the Elon Musks of the world that are saying these things. I think they're just worried about a couple of things. One, government's dumber than anybody, right? You saw that listening to the TikTok hearings, just how incapable our leaders are of comprehending any level of app that's out there. But nope, train of thought's gone. We're going to pause for this. But I think they're worried about two things. One, the government. Two, the general population just being dumb with AI, right? We're already starting to see this with some of the crimes that are being committed, deep fakes, right? Audio deep fakes. There's a big thing right now. Senior citizens are getting tricked because someone could take 3 seconds of my voice, call my mom, make it sound like me, like I'm in trouble, and get money or time or whatever, give up their personal information. It's scary shit. And I'm really, really worried about the crime outpacing the benefits of using AI. Now, I'm also kind of pissed off that AI has become a news item because it's not really. We've been using this stuff forever, right? What is an automated phone system other than AI? We've hated those things forever, right? We've had some level of artificial intelligence assisting us for decades. It's just so happens to be now that we're hitting a point in time where there's a lot of use. There's a lot of folks that are using machine learning in different ways. And inevitably and unsurprisingly, it's really focused in the scientific and the creative worlds, right? You've got the real nerds, and then you've got the real nerds that went to art school. So you've got a lot of folks that are coming at it from different directions. There are great ways to use AI. There are really solid ways to use it in scientific research. There are fascinating ways to use it in the creative arts. It's a boon for students to be able to produce more efficiently. However, it can also produce a lot of junk. I find that I don't trust humans in general, but I don't trust machines even more than that. So whenever I'm producing something or asking questions, I'm also going back and fact checking, and you should too, or else you're going to look really dumb when you put something out that doesn't even exist. That's like, may the force be with you, said Dumbledore in Star Trek 5, right? So I think there are ways that it can be really confusing. There's a lot of crime that can happen. Don't get me started on the election that's coming up. That's going to be, I'll say this as my dear grandmother used to say, a real clusterfuck. That election is going to be nightmarish. We have no idea what to believe, who to believe, what's real, what's not. You thought 2016 was a mess? Oh my God, just wait for 2024. I think it's going to be awful, awful to watch what AI does on social media to people that really have two brain cells that are in a cage match fighting. Try to understand what's real and what's not. I think that's going to be really funny. All right. Well, who else we got here? Chantel, congratulations on from everything that I'm hearing, a fantastic conference for the Maine PPA. Unbelievable. You brought in some great speakers. I wasn't able to attend, but you had Roberto Valenzuela there. You had a bunch of stuff going on. It looked like it was a big success. Congratulations. I just wanted to say that to you in person. Judith, thanks for dropping by. There you are down mid-Atlantic. Thanks for hanging out. I was just talking to Julie the other day, our mutual friend, and wanted her to say hello to you. I hope you got that. And yeah, you know what? I think I may join you back at the convention next year. So stay in touch about that. All right. What else is going on? I'm going to be heading out to Portrait Masters in September. Switching gears a little bit, going back to conferences. Going out to Portrait Masters, I'll be working in one of the booths there. So I'm looking forward to that. Applying to speak at WPPI. I'm going to try to do some teaching out at WPPI, whether that's on podcasting, whether that's on video creation for photographers, or whether that's self-value for men. I think there's several different topics that I'd be able to talk on. So I'll submit my applications and hope for the best. Other questions? Couple weeks back, I posted about this huge book that I got from Enphoto Labs, the Grand Gallery book. A lot of you were asking me questions on the side about where to get it, how many pages. I'll just go over that really quick. So it's 28 inches on the long side. The paper is very heavy, fine art. You get like a linen texture cover. The big issue with it is that there's a 60-page minimum. So that drives your prices way up. For me, the cost, I got an 88-page book. I think the cost to me was somewhere in the $1,000 range, thereabouts. But I know that with my pricing, 60 images in an album like that is going to be somewhere around $8,000. So it's not a product for everybody, but it is a product for the right person. And yeah, Harvey, a buddy of mine, photographer, fellow nerd, and user of firearms like me, came by and saw the book a couple of weekends ago. And yeah, it's impressive to look at, Harvey. And thanks for being here, by the way. The books are gorgeous. Dawn, like seeing that at WPPI was unbelievable. I was really blown away. And, I saw Rosa Zampolinska's, whose name has changed now, but I saw Rose's work there and I recognized it instantly. And it was just a beautiful book. I had to get one for myself. I know Cicela's getting one as well. And yeah, she fell in love with Mozart at WPPI. Jessica saw it as well. I can't promote it enough. It's really impressive to look at. Pain in the ass to carry around. However, the impact, right? So I got it with full bleed pictures on the pages, so I didn't have any border around it. It looks amazing no matter how you format it, but I wanted big, no bleed portraits in the entire book, and I was pretty stoked about getting it. If anybody wants to see it, there's a video on my Instagram page. I think it's the last Instagram post I made a couple weeks back. Can you tell I'm not on social a lot? But yeah, the book is there. Check it out. I made a little bit of video about it. Shows all the details. It's been in the back of my mind since I saw reveal. It's stunning. Yeah, Chantel, if you ever want to see it, come by the studio, just drive on up and take a look. Or next time you're passing through town, if you're doing a wedding up here or something, stop by, take a look. I'd be happy to go through it all, show you my costs, show you how I did everything. Good morning, Shar. It's so good to have you here. So Shar's coming from the absolute opposite side of the world. I'm so happy you're here. If you happen to talk to Chris, tell her I said hello. I'm worried about her all the time and thinking about her all the time. So, all right. That was the Grand Gallery book. To recap, anybody that's just joined, I just finally started a year later the Generator Podcast Instagram account. If you can go kind of give that a follow at Generator Podcast, that'd be pretty dope. I'm trying to get all of the content up there so that I'm not spamming people on the Stone Tree Creative side with all the Generator Podcast stuff. There'll be some crossover because I'm me and I'm an attention whore, but I really want to try to focus everything on Generator Podcast Instagram account. Not even going to bother with Facebook. I've got the website, Instagram, funny for me. All right. Thank you. It's so lovely to see you as well. Shar is one of my favorite people. All right. You're hanging out. You want to talk about anything. Clearly, I'm not hurting for opinions on anything. Shoot something in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about. If you want to join me here, like I'll just send you an invite, fire up your webcam, join me here. We can talk about anything. I did it last week with my friend Charlene, who worked for Silicon Valley Bank, or works for as part of this transition that they're going through. And we had a phenomenal conversation about mental health. We had a great conversation about work and what it takes to kind of work for yourself or even work within teams that are going through significant change. So Cicela is going to join. Fantastic. All right, I'll give you a second to get things fired up, and I'm going to send you the invite link, and we're going to send this right to you right now. I don't know what's working or what's not on my screen. Hopefully you can't see anything. But I am going to send that to Cicela, and we'll see if she joins us here anytime soon. Okay, cool. So nonstop talking for 54 minutes. I'm going to take a drink. Has anyone gone on an ayahuasca retreat? I really want to do that. I want to head down to Costa Rica or Peru and get in touch with the cosmos. So if anybody wants to join me, maybe we can talk about doing that next year sometime. I'm really fascinated by psychedelic approaches to mental health and am no stranger to psychedelics. Huge fan of them. Dabble all the time, microdose mushrooms, went through my LSD phase. But now I'm really focused on good plant medicine and would love to really look into ayahuasca, maybe some DMT, something like that. So if you're into that sort of stuff, we should talk. All right. With no further ado, I am going to bring to the stage my friend and colleague and just all around amazing human, Cicela Johansson. Hey!
I hope my mic is gonna work today.
A little bit soft, so you may need to either turn it up or lean into it.
Hello, it's right
To
here.
see your face.
Oh, good to see yours too. It's been forever. I don't think we've actually have we video chatted since we saw each other WPBI?
Nope. And I'm getting static from your mic, just by the way.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Not
Why
kidding you
is
at all. It sounds like, and this is so we're going to do a little bit of audio stuff here. If you do have microphones of any sort, condenser, dynamic, USB, right? You're going to get some level of electronic interference if you have those cords running by all your other cords. Inevitably, if they're not shielded cables, you are going to get some level of interference. So, that being said, Sisla and I have battled with this mic that she has for our podcast, for conversations that we have all the time, and StreamYard, right? Not other applications. It just tends to be StreamYard with your specific mic setup and browser set. No idea what it is. But if you happen to be using a USB mic, just be wary that it might not work on everything, which is why I use kind of what I use, but not everyone's a big nerd like me. All right, how you doing over there? She's still going. So, the role of Sisla will be played by Matt. I'm doing great. I can't do a Danish accent clearly. I'm waiting with bated breath. We're losing listeners, Sisla. You're killing me with this.
Sorry, I have moved over to just the natural computer thingy.
Wonderful.
Hi.
Sounds amazing.
So good. So good. It's also
so,
good. Hi, surprise.
It's really funny having you here because we tried to do the very first episode of Generator was supposed to be you. And we fucked that up so terribly. D, what's happening, man? He's here.
Yes.
Man, the myth, the legend. I've got to sit down and talk hip hop with D'Artagnan.
Yes,
we have to sit and talk about it at some point. Anyway, so the first episode of Generator was supposed to be me and Sisla, and I was having a lightning storm. We lost power. Your backdrop fell over. You had a cat jump across. Couldn't get a microphone to work. We lost power totally, and then we just decided to re-record things. And
but it was fun.
But it was fun. And this is why I'm still doing this. What's going on with you? Like, I saw you post that you are going to be moving back to Scandaland.
Yes, I'm out of here. No, so yes. Peace out. AI's taking over. I'm moving.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it, I can't compete.
No, I've well, you know me. The rest of you don't probably that well. Some of you might. I don't know. But nonetheless, I immigrated 9 years ago. Started immigrating 9 years ago when I first started coming here. And I've lived here permanently since 2017. I'm an American citizen. I built my business, got success, got a divorce, all that good stuff. And oh my God, Tanya and I love your work too. And yeah, so I have struggled for many years on identity and roots and what I want to do, where I want to be, all that good stuff. After my divorce, I kind of had to prove to myself that I could do this on my own, and I did better. I became successful, and I'm freaking loving it. I got a studio, and once all these layers of things got peeled away, there was still this one little core thing that I was like, I'm not happy. No amount of monetary success or just like repute or anything like that could make up for the fact that I miss my family, I miss my friends.
I bet.
I have a lot of things with living here that's a little hard. Okay, he's opening up the bottle now. We're talking, and eventually, not that long ago, 2 weeks ago, I just said I'm moving. I have a house there.
Yeah.
I own a house there, which is insane to be at my age and actually owning a house, and I can live mortgage free. I feel so damn privileged. And I've calculated that I can live for $1,500 comfortably a month. So I'm gonna come over here 3 months out of the year, work my butt off, and then go back and do.
I am applying tomorrow for a visa so
Okay.
that I can just come over there and work. Because if I can live comfortably for about 15 grand a year, I'm on board. That I can do.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
congratulations. I know that you've been traveling back quite a bit, and every time that you go back, and we've had some of these conversations when you return, that there's this longing, there's this nostalgia, right? And while you've got a life here,
Mhm.
life, big capital L, is there. And, you know, it just seems like you always come back a bit more inspired, that you come back full of hope, even when you go over there in whatever mood that you're in. Right. And it tends to be at the point of burnout or at a good time for you to just kind of take a break. That every time you come back, I see this incredible uptick in the quality of your work, in the depth of your work, and it's always leveling up, always going up. And it fascinates me to the point where I just want to block you because I can't stand how good your stuff looks. And I'm just kind of like,
You're
meh,
gonna hate me
screw
now
it.
then, because it's gonna be 9 months out of the year.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's and thank you. It is very inspiring. There's a lot of inspiring things about living in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
There's a few things around like um, quality of life,
Mhm.
fear, lack of fear. I've never so before coming here, I've never had a fear of poverty. I've never had a fear of becoming sick. I never had a fear of becoming permanently disabled. And then I came here, and now that fear is very, very real all the time. And there's always this, can I make
Yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah.
do I have enough? Do I have enough? I need more, more, more. And I'm tired of wanting more, when what I want is higher quality of life that isn't necessarily tied to money. And not having to worry about getting sick. I have gallbladder issues. I need that removed at some point. I'm not doing that here. That's expensive.
So what does quality of life look like to you? Meaning, put photography aside for a second.
Yes.
Um, right?
Uh,
Because we know what you do for work. You and I have both struggled for a long time with balance, right?
yes.
We're both kind of these neurodivergent workaholics that, you know, dive into our work more and more. One, because we love the craft, but two, because, you know, sometimes living alone, you got nothing else. Might as well just kind of keep working, right? So, what does moving to back to Denmark, Sweden, Scandaland, what does that provide for you outside of family and friends that is that soul fulfilling part? Is it the landscape? Is it the food? Is it the sunsets? Like, what is it that draws you there? Is it the currency exchange? But what does that good part of life look like to you once you move back?
That's a big question, but it's a very, very good one. Big part of it is, frankly, there's little things that I miss. Lots of small things, but it is certain birds, the sound of certain birds. It is the smell in winter of
Mm,
frost that you don't have where I live. It is less humidity in summer. It is the sun not setting until 11 p.m., sitting
yeah,
by the bonfire with friends, or by grilling outside because you're not getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Some place in Sweden, yes, but
sure.
not as much as here. You can actually sit outside. It's not having to worry about making sure that you have saved enough money to become sick.
Right.
it is jumping on a plane and go 2 hours, and then you're in England, or in Iceland 3 hours, then you're in Iceland, or Spain or France, or jump in the car, drive to Germany. Like,
Yeah.
for me, Stockholm's going to be 6 hours drive. I'm going to take the train and go to Stockholm. Like, there's all this ease of transportation. There is the Scandinavian life in general is more conducive to physical health. You see less white bread, you see less sugar in your food, you don't see high fructose corn syrup. There is
There's a lot of
less
herring, though.
Oh, it's so good. All the
Fuck
herring.
herring.
Also, gott och blandat, salt licorice, which is, by the way, poison. But
And this is how the Vikings conquered the world
we just poisoned people
centuries ago. They just brought over salt licorice
and herring. At least we don't. I mean, Danes are pretty low key. We have I think it's Norway that has fermented shark. No, that's the Iceland.
That's Iceland. Yeah,
that's Icelanders, and that they Icelanders and Finns are different breeds. Love them, but different breeds.
100%. So, a couple of quick stories. So, when I was working for Cisco Systems, I was over in Denmark for a while. We were staying right on the canal, right? And so we had all these little dinners that we were doing. There were 4 or 5 of us over there. We were doing an acquisition over there, and we were bouncing around between Denmark and Amsterdam and Germany, and just kind of bopping around in Europe. So I was sober about 12 minutes of the entire trip. Yeah, exactly. I learned what White Widow is back in like 2002. It's fantastic. So I realized that everybody over there, I've never felt so short, heavy, and hairy as when I walked by, because there were 6th graders that were named like Magnus Magnuson, and they're 6'5", 340 pounds, and they're pulling their parents in a wagon, and they're like, we're going to school. I'm going into 3rd grade. And it's just these massive, gorgeous people. Now, I thought Denmark was beautiful. Then I went to Iceland, and I was just like, they've been allowed to just breed more beautiful people on an island in the North Atlantic here for centuries. Put aside the fermented shark for a minute. And
they need an app to make sure that they're not related.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy. All right. So, but Iceland for me was just the entire Scandinavian culture fascinates me. I will never, ever be able to pronounce anything I read at all. Too many dots and weird things and guttural pronunciations. And I've made it my mission over the past, 15 years to try to pronounce that volcano in Iceland. And I can't. The one that's got like 75 letters in it. And I can't. I've watched The Secret Life of Walter Mitty 150 times where they escape the volcano. And I've never been able to mention it. I know we're sidetracked, but I'm drinking. Who cares? So let's get back to where you're going. So you're going to be living in Sweden, right? Yeah. Not Denmark. Okay, cool.
Not Denmark. Born and raised in Denmark. Parents retired to Sweden, had a second house, take over that house.
That's Sweden. What it is. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So you just got a studio here, right? And I know that's been working well. And I know you've got that all handled, but do you plan on getting another studio in Sweden or Stockholm or wherever you're going? You're going to do just more editorial shoot out of your home. What do you plan on doing?
That's the beautiful
thing. Or do you even know, like, do you even give a shit? Or you just want to get there? I know this decision is like 12 hours old, right? So what do you see in the mind's eye about you doing out there?
That's the beautiful thing. I'm not sure, and I'm loving it. So awesome. Currently I'm saving up enough to have for a year of not worrying. So besides the fact that I can come here 3 months out of the year and work my butt off and earn a nice amount of money to take back with me, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to give me peace of mind. So alongside it, I'm going to be building my business the way I want it without money being a factor, with the clients that I want, in the style that I want. No need for a specific type. I'm going to have the ultimate luxury of being able to tailor my dream exactly as I see fit without worrying about living, because that will be taken care of 3 months out of the year.
And
So
I'm just going to interrupt you there and echo what Kristen says. Love that for you. That's
thank you,
amazing.
Crystal.
That's great.
It's insane, and it's privilege beyond. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, my mind is like buzzing with level of gratefulness, because somehow, somewhere in my life, I ended up in a position where I could do this.
Yeah.
And that's just insanity to me. I'm planning on hopefully doing more personal projects that might turn into books. I'm planning on discovering more about my artwork, the art side of things that I love to do. I have a bunch of projects planned that I are thinking about it that will do very well in the Swedish forest.
I bet.
I am gonna be probably maybe looking into, like, we're talking long term now, writing. I want to write, and just figure out exactly how I want to live my life without fear. I'm tired
That's a
of being
huge thing. Living without fear. I
generally
haven't
speaking.
conquered that yet. I live with stress. I don't live with fear well.
Yes.
And this is another reason why all the stuff that I'm following with Sue, all the self-value work, and doing my own inner work. Fear's a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's sneaky too. And it creeps up in all these little places, right? And it's those little voices in your head that seem gentle and seem protective, but it's really just fear. And it's so primal, right? We're basically one step above chimps. I'd venture to say a half step above chimps. And
Talked about
it's very
politics
primal
earlier.
in us to be able to understand our environment and know what's a threat and what's not.
Yeah.
But because we're not being hunted by saber-toothed tigers anymore, the threat becomes Doug the manager, right? Assigning you another PowerPoint presentation. It becomes the Karen at Walmart, right? Who's going to yell at you for not putting the toilet paper back on the shelf correctly, right? So fear becomes these weird little things that cause us to act in ways that are against how we're wired. I know for me, I've been trying to make it in this small town, and I'm like an Irish Catholic guy in South Boston, and like I will stay with something until it kills me, right? I will put all my emotions aside and I will just stay with something, committed to it until I'm 6 feet under. I think I'm staying here out of fear of moving somewhere else. I'm staying here doing what I'm doing, trying to rationalize keeping a studio going when it's not fulfilling me in the way that I want to be fulfilled. It's a mix of stress, fear, now mixed with future uncertainties. It's a weird place. Yeah, dude. And I think this is that collective stress that a lot of us are feeling in the creative community, right? So outside of AI, it's going to take all our jobs, right? Whatever.
If not kill us.
Like whatever. The fact that we ourselves allow fear to control us in those ways is human. It takes a little bit of tenderness on our own part to be like, just recognize that it exists, but we can't let it rule. So seeing you understand the landscape of your business and your personal life and what you have here and what you have in Europe, and even though you've just gotten a studio, which is something you've talked about for a long time, even though your business is doing exactly what you want, you conquered the fear of going somewhere else because you know that there is no growth in staying exactly where you are forever. You've got to be uncomfortable. You've got to face that fear. And seeing you do that has me thinking in a lot of different directions. And it's not, well, if Sissela can do it, I can do it. It's not that. It's just seeing someone with a plan that they know is their heart plan, right? And this is what you're following. And that just makes me go, and I'll bring it back to what Kristen said. Yes. Like it's so cool to watch you doing this and being able to be multi-continent shooter, Sissela Johansson, worldwide photographer, Sissela Johansson, not craptastic Village, Maine, Matt Stagliano. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're able to expand a presence to all new markets. Most of us will never get the chance to do that, right? And so your ability to do it in such a way that you're chasing down your fear, but you're following your dreams at the same time is so inspiring for so many people. And I'm stoked for you. I'm absolutely stoked for you.
I will say, having done it before, so I live my life. I know fear, and fear terrifies me, obviously, because it's fear. But there's a certain point, just as you're saying, you gotta move through it. And what I've experienced, having done this before, having uprooted my life, built entirely from scratch somewhere else in a new country, new culture, not knowing anyone, no network, nothing. Having done that before, I know that, and achieved the success that I have with the amount of pain that I've also been through, because mind you, I've had my fair share of pain, just like everyone else. In my experience, every single time I push past those fears, they reward me. When you move past your fear, that's when you skyrocket. When you do the thing that's difficult, that's when you release and you experience that level of growth that is just mind-boggling, and you're like, why didn't I do it before?
That's the phrase right there. Why didn't I do this before? Why? Because you're fucking afraid. Yeah, that's okay. And that's okay. Totally.
You gotta be ready before you take these steps. And I have created a life where I've made myself up to be ready, but I've also sacrificed a shit ton to get there. This is not easy. There's nothing easy about it. Right. Now it feels easy because I'm releasing the fear. I had this idea, how can I do this in Scandinavia? How can I charge what I do? I'm probably not going to charge exactly the same. That's okay. But how can I rebuild again? I'm tired of rebuilding. But then again, I was like, wait a second. You moved to an entirely different continent, different culture. You only had your then husband and his family as a network. You built an entire network and a business, made it successful. So why wouldn't you be able to do the same thing in Scandinavia, where you have a network, where you know people, where you're born and raised, and now you have all the knowledge of how to build a business? So I will ask you this, Matt.
Oh, Jesus.
Why not? What's keeping you?
So in my particular instance, all of this work that folks have seen me doing, renovating the house, right? Building the business, starting the podcast, doing all these things. What I'm doing long-term, the long-term plan was never to be a photographer for my whole life. I've told this story 100 times. I fell into it, didn't plan on being a photographer. People started paying me. The first job I ever had, I was hired by the NRA, right, to do a commercial campaign for them. And since then, it has been, well, I might as well go with this. People are still paying me to do it. Might as well keep doing it. And so everything that I'm doing, right, I get these itches about every 7 years, right? And I noticed it when I was working corporate, that I would basically stay in the same field for about 7 years, right? I was doing nightclubs for a few years, and then I was teaching, and then I got into biotech, and then I got into high tech. And then in high tech, I was doing IT, and then I was doing HR and mergers and acquisitions. And I was kind of always looking for something bigger. And building on the experience that I brought from everything else. So when I got to photography, I said, all right, well, this sounds interesting for now. Let me just kind of keep doing this for a while. And it's become wonderful. My life has changed because of following my creative side rather than the what I'm supposed to do, what my parents told me to do, getting the college education, getting the good job, right? All the stuff. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, knowing me, having the hindsight, knowing where I get bored, right? I'm right about the 10-year mark for professional photography. And I'm coming up, I just hit 5 years with Stone Tree, 4 or 5 years with Stone Tree. I forget. Yeah, 5 years with Stone Tree. I know that I'm coming up on that itchy spot where like it's time to do something different, right? And originally when I set out, I thought I'd be creating an agency and not just a photo studio. And I realized that all of the experience that I've gone through being a photographer is leading me to whatever is next, right? I've been able to meet such incredible people through the Sue Bryce community and through doing this and just reconnecting with friends and meeting new people. And it's been an incredible way to connect with other humans. But I'm always looking for opportunity. I'm always looking for what is going to make for the most interesting life. Right. And I don't always get it right. Not even close. But what I'm doing now is renovating the house so that if I decide to move, I can keep the property and rent it. I'm trying to build the business to a point where at the national level, I can go anywhere and do the job. I'm trying to build the podcast so that it can be sponsored to give me enough passive income that I can continue to do the things in the lean times. Right? I've got the jewelry business that I set out over here. I've still got the video work, doing education, doing mentoring, right? Artist Forge, TPM, all these things, trying to diversify, not only to satisfy that weird little itch in me that I just need to do fucking something different, but setting myself up for, okay, if I eventually pull the plug on being a photographer, what's the next natural evolution? So, in order for me to think that way in my weird brain, I've got to have certain pieces in place. And the fear creeps in when it doesn't move as fast as I want it to, or it doesn't go the way I want. And what I've learned through a lot of the self-value work is that little bit of reframing, little bit of looking back instead of forward, just to be like, look where you were a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. Right? Where were you when you were suicidal? Where were you when you were just awful in a corporate job? Where were you when you were getting divorced or moving or losing your job? Whatever it was. Take a look back and see where you are now. Realize that in 5 or 10 years, you're going to look back at this and be like, I can't believe I was doing that shitty stuff 5 or 10 years ago. Right? And so this is why I'm super stoked for you, because as you move from the States back home and do the, bi-continent thing, that the world is going to absolutely open up for you. Yeah. And just know that even though you may not see it or hear it, there's a lot of us that are watching and getting inspired by what you're doing. So
I'm happy to hear that.
Very, very happy for you. Very proud of you. And I cannot wait to see where this goes for you. Absolutely cannot wait to see where this goes.
Thank you. I'm very excited. And I mean, on top of all of the other things, I'm going to be building something. I'm going to be building something educational. I'm not entirely sure what yet, but I'm working on it. And I'm applying to speak at WPPI next year.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to be speakers. We've decided. It's decided. It's happening.
I swear to God, you steal my topic, I'll come kneecap you. If you do, no, I don't know. I'm just making idle, drunken threats on the internet. That can't come back to haunt me at all.
At all, ever, because it hasn't haunted anyone ever. Anything that they said online and in visual.
Yeah, this doesn't live forever. I can
No,
delete this, right?
no,
I can
no.
delete this. Where do I delete? Where's the delete button?
Well, I think you should stop recording it first if that's the case. But no.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Amy's here.
Hi, Amy.
Hey. Um,
Okay, so there was something I saw about someone in Germany.
oh yeah, so my buddy Harvey, right? So I know Harvey from the gun world, and engineer, right? Works in kind of high government positions, and he's kind of lived all over the world doing what he does. And the idea of packing it all in and starting over again is kind of normal. Yeah, I
Yep.
think once you get past it once, right?
Yep.
Just like anything else, you've now got experience to draw from, right? Your brain is able to create that pattern and
Yeah.
understand, okay, this isn't new. I've gone through this before. I've got a frame of reference. I can do X, Y, and Z to get by. I think for me, having been able to travel the world, having 1,000 different careers, right? The notion of change doesn't scare me. The notion of change without guaranteed or the I don't want to say guarantee because nothing's guaranteed, but the notion of change without a good plan in place to succeed, that scares me. Like
Yeah.
flying by the seat of my pants. I've been doing that here for an hour and a half, and it's terrifying trying to keep a conversation going. However, I've done it before. The words will just keep falling out. So why not just keep going with it? Right? Same kind of thing with photography. It'll work itself out into what I want it to be. I thought I'd be in a much different place right now than I was when I thought about it 4 or 5 years ago.
I know. Have you ever considered that if we stop fighting the situation, if we stop just letting ourselves be in this conversation and the words keep coming out, if we just stop for a moment and stop doing that, check in and be like, am I just doing it for the sake of doing it, or am I doing it because it makes sense? And I mean, it can make sense for multiple different reasons. It can
Sure.
make sense for, frankly, sustaining life, sustaining yourself. That's a very valid reason. What I do is a luxury. There's no question about it.
Right.
It's a luxury. So for most people, just sustaining your life is very valid.
Right.
But there's a certain point, I think, that you have to kind of be like, am I just going through the motion because out of fear or out of habit, or oh, maybe it'll work itself out, instead of actually working on it and working it out first. I know you. I know your dreams. Like you told me about these amazing dreams that you have of things that you want to do and things that you want to see and create and build. And you can absolutely do it. You 100% have the resources for it. And I think you will. I just don't necessarily think you're ready to face that yet.
No, I don't even know about that. I just, thank you. I don't disagree with you. And we're going to get into this question in just a second. With risk and following your heart, how does one qualify a good plan? Well, we're gonna get back to that in a second. I just wanted to kind of preview that. So with me, I'm not really too concerned, right? I've got big plans. My issue, and this is kind of what I'm working on with Sue and her work, and diving in and really looking at my own self-value, my own issues. Where does my stuff come from? Where do my money blocks come from? Why am I so concerned about body image? Right. Because when I see me, I see 400 pounds and a lot of body dysmorphia. Right. So that's one of my big things. I've got a lot of financial blocks because of the software that was put on my hard drive when I was a kid. And so I've got a lot of these weird blocks. Those are the things that I'm trying to get to the root of, because all these big plans I have are fully achievable without a doubt. But my fear of abandonment, my fear of betrayal, my shame, right? All of those things can be debilitating. Not to the point where it's overt and I know that because I feel like my body's gross or I feel I have a poverty mindset, that it's overt and that's the reason I'm failing. It's not it. Those are these weird buzzes way in the back. It's the beaver dam way upstream that you have to finally get to and unclog before all the stuff downstream can flow. Right?
Yes. When I got my studio, I removed the last obstacle that revealed the beaver dam.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is not going to make me happy.
Yep.
So yeah.
And that's a big realization to get to. All right. So let's kind of I'm just going to reset for a second, let you kind of, if you need more wine, get more wine.
Okay,
You know what? We'll do that Jack Sparrow style. We'll refill the, oh my God, we are out of wine. All right. Well, we're going to have to end this conversation soon.
Box in my
No,
fridge.
we're not going to end the conversation soon. So I'm thinking about Kristen's question. So let's take a look at this. With risk and following your heart, how does one qualify a good plan? All right. Do you want to take a stab at this first, or do you want me to go?
Can I start?
Knock yourself out.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it up on the screen so you can refer back to it.
Yes, thank you, because thinking and wine, it's fun. How does one qualify a good plan? That's an excellent question, because there's plenty of things that we want to be doing. I want to mount Kilimanjaro at some point. Like, there's
in a word.
There's dreams, and then there's plans. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. A plan is just is just a dream that you are making into actionable steps. So any dream can become a plan. Now, what is a good plan? That's the plan that won't necessarily put you at physical risk. It's the plan that, hence not mounting Kilimanjaro. It is the plan that won't put your family at risk, and your future at too much of a risk. Now, that might mean not so. A bad plan would be putting your entire 401k into this one stock that might have the potential to blow up. That's not a good plan. Not a good plan. I'm not a stock advisor, but when you follow your heart and you really tune into your heart and to your heart's desire, this sounds all very, and by the way, there's a small voice in my head right now that's saying, who am I to speak about this? Because I come from a very privileged position. So that is a voice in my head right now, just so you're aware. But when you follow your heart, if that one dream keeps on pounding in your head, keep showing up in different ways, and you keep thinking about it, and then you maybe push it away and you continue life. Maybe you go in a different direction. But if it keeps coming back, that is when you should think about how that might be an actionable plan. So if your plan, or if your dream, for example, means moving to, let's say, Germany, then you should probably figure out if that's doable. So put up the question again, because I want to make sure that I'm not backing into.
I mean, no, you're hitting it. Like, what qualifies a good plan, right? So
a good plan is one that you assess the risk, you assess which obstacles you have to climb, you figure out in advance what will enable you to do so, and then you start actually taking steps, taking action on those things. Because a plan that's not being taken action upon is just a dream.
Two things. One, Kristen's profile picture is slaying it. Just a great profile picture.
Why am I not seeing it? I'm only seeing it in StreamYard. I gotta see it. Oh, yes. Okay, now I see it.
Looks great. So, Kristen, great picture. Just gonna put that up there.
I love that laugh, Kristen. That seems joyful.
So for me, a good plan is the one that just continues to light you up, because good is subjective, right? So good to me is not the plan that you would follow. Good to me is not the plan my dad would follow. Good to me is the plan that lights me up every fucking day, where I say, you know what, I'm going to exercise and eat right and get my own health under control. How I do that is on me. At the time that I do it, the time frame in which I do it is on me. Good for me has always been a mix of dream and reality, meaning there is this end goal that I see. I know I will reach that point. I know the what that I want.
Yes.
I know what I want. The how is a cluster, right? I have no idea how I'm going to get to the what, knowing only because I know from 49.7 years of experience that what I plan for is never going to happen the way that I had planned it. Goes off the rails immediately from project one. I've been a project manager way too long. Shit goes off the rails immediately. So for me, as long as I stay lit up inside about my end goal, then whatever I put into the plan is a good part of that, even if that means that that portion of the plan fails. Because inevitably, what I learn from that failure is experience.
Yes.
What I learn is that's a road not to go down. Now, the way to do this mentally, and Sue talks about this a lot, is what she calls walking the multiverse, right? And it so applies to the big physics nerd in me, because I'm constantly thinking about different directions that this decision can go.
Yes.
Right?
Thinking the thought through.
So it's thinking the thought through, but it's not thinking it through with some naivete or, self-delusion that everything I do is going to work out. You've kind of got to go into it with a little bit of balls like that. Like, you wouldn't move otherwise. You wouldn't do anything otherwise. But for me, as long as it lights me up, like if I say, now I'm not a car guy, but if I know that I want to start rebuilding cars, I want to rebuild a 1973 Ford Bronco. Okay. Well, I may have a notion in my head right now about how I want to go about that plan. I don't know if I'm going to fail or not. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the parts, or maybe this is something that is absolutely impossible to do. But the good plan for me is one that keeps me moving forward, that I know with an open mind is going to present problems and that I need to solve, and that there are going to be obstacles in the way that I'll need to overcome. But as long as I keep focusing on what I want at the end, the how will show up. Therefore, whatever plan I make is a good plan. It's the good plan for me because it's coming from here.
Yep.
And it's not just what someone else told me to do that kind of makes me feel kind of weird, Nikki. Like, if I can internalize it and I say every part of that plan feels good to me right now, then it's a good plan. It's a good plan, right? Most of us focus on the fear-based elements of a plan. We are going to fail. Therefore, don't do it because that's pain. The brain wants to avoid pain, right? Instead of focusing on, this is going to be amazing when I'm done. That didn't work out. Fuck it. Whatever. Let's try something else because this is going to feel amazing when it's done, right? That's the cool thing. Oh, yeah. Look. So thank you, former classmate Arnica Spring, who's amazing, by the way. I would love to do this convo real time, but getting ready for an event. I have so much I want to add into this. Another rabbit hole will go down would be amazing. Absolutely, Kristen. And I'm going to start, I think, doing these most Fridays. So maybe we can do a Friday afternoon chat next time. But it's playing with the thought for once, what if it's a positive thing? Exactly. Right. So a lot of times they call them war rooms. They call them war games for a reason, right? Because you go into battle and you want to think about the worst case scenario so that as problems arise, it doesn't come across as a surprise. You're kind of prepared for it, right? You've already thought through the contingency plans. But we don't pay enough attention to the positive outcome, like driving towards the positive outcome where we want to get to. It's way easier to focus on the shitty stuff, way easier. But when we can focus on the what and not the how, right? then you get to that point eventually. It's not going to take the road that you thought it would, right? I just want to tell you one quick story. So when I was in 5th grade, Mr. Ryan's class, the Gleason Elementary School in Medford, Massachusetts. So there's all my personal information if you want to hunt me down. Mr. Ryan's class, we had to write a report about a state in the United States that we wanted to profile. So for me, a lot of people were doing Massachusetts and Maine and Connecticut and whatnot, all New England stuff. Small town thinkers, right? Those of us that were 11, you're just not thinking big enough. I wrote a report on Colorado. Ooh. Never been to Colorado. I didn't know anything about it. God knows we didn't have any money to travel anywhere outside of my town. So Colorado just seemed like a foreign land to me. And my monitor just went out. Hold on.
It's the AI. It's taking over.
Can you see me just fine?
Yeah.
All right, then I'll just kind of keep talking until my monitor decides it wants to come back on. So I might have to do this without being able to see anything. What is it that you do to me, Sissela? Why do you bring me technical difficulties all the time?
I mean, right now you're frozen, my dear. Your face is frozen in a very interesting position.
Yeah,
it's like
this is
pretty
weird.
We
may have to call it, like, if I'm frozen, my monitor does not want to come back on. So I know you can hear me.
Yes.
I am trying desperately to get back to you, but it's not working. So I'll just finish my thought. What's that?
I said, oh, well.
Oh, well. I really have no idea why this is happening the way it's happening. So we'll just kind of end here.
Can I finish?
I would
say something real quick.
Oh yeah, no, please go right ahead.
It's just related to making plans and the fact that oftentimes when we make plans that seem larger than life, when we make plans that feel scary, other people will tell us, "Oh, I couldn't do that," or "Are you sure that's a good idea?" And my biggest advice to anyone trying to do anything that's just remotely scary is stop listening to that, because that's not going to help you. Because most people don't have the guts to think further than next paycheck or in a year or what about retirement. Okay, we're green now. Your screen just went green. Oh. Okay.
I'm back, baby.
You're back.
I'm back.
I see you.
No idea what happened. Doesn't matter. I'm here. So continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, just that if you have plans or dreams and want to make them into plans, one of the biggest advice that I have on that account is stop listening to the people that say you can't do that. When I was immigrating here to begin with, people were like, I would never do that. And I'm like, no one asked you. I'm going to do it. And I did it. And it was terrifying. And it was hard. And it was heartbreaking. But you know what? It is one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done in my life. And that's how it is with any plan. Just as you say, any plan that feels right. It didn't turn out the way I thought it would.
Nope, never does.
But it turned out for the best. I love where I am today. And you're absolutely, I completely agree with you in your idea of what a good plan is. You gotta follow
it's and that was the thing that, honestly, and I'll give credit where credit's due. That was Sue's turn of phrase. What lights you up? The big thing that she put into my head over and over and over and over and over and over and over is 4 words. What do you want? What do you want? You ask that question. People are like, well, I want this, I want that. No, you fucking don't. What do you want? What do you want?
Yes.
Not what do you think people want you to want. What do you want? When you can clearly identify that, there's your what, right? The how you get there Don't even think about it. What's the what? What keeps you lit up? And for me, when I first started doing all of this internal work, the what for me was guiding people, teaching people. It's the common thread through everything that I've done, through management, through teaching, through owning my own businesses, has been helping people. Now, not in the counselor sort of way, and certainly not in any sort of therapy way, but it's just kind of like helping guide people to a better version of themselves, helping people work through some problems. Because I've experienced a ton of shit and I've seen a lot, as we all have, right? I'm not individual in that. That's what makes life wonderful. But I know that my experience in being able to relay that in a deep, well modulated baritone allows me to get some points across and make people feel a little bit more comfortable with dealing with their fear. So I've been there. I've needed the help. I've gotten it. And I'm trying to basically pass that forward.
Yes. You know?
So all that being said, I think fear's a bitch.
Oh,
switching topics a little bit.
Okay.
What do you got going on this weekend? Am I looking at it?
Yeah. No, so I'm in your switch. I see your switching topic, and I'm gonna tie it in real quick to our previous conversation. To talk. So I don't ask myself what do I want. I ask myself what's the point, which is a variation of the same question.
I hear you say that all the time.
What's the point? And so I had to ask myself over and over again, what's the point? And I realized that I have maybe 3 people that I hang out with on the regular. Hence, I'm working this weekend because my point here became work. That's not the point of my life.
Right.
So, to answer your question, I'm working. I have a delivery on Sunday, or she's actually coming to pick it up. She was one of my last clients before I got a studio, and she was the one I broke the news to the very first time. And all my clients are amazing and all want to celebrate me. The very first client that I had in my new studio brought a bubble of bubbles. So after her session, we sat down in the couch outside my studio and drank bubbles in a mug, and it was lovely.
Like champagne. I thought you were like bubbles.
No,
like
champagne.
Soap bubbles.
Prosecco.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I'm not up in the lingo.
Champagne is more expensive. But we drank prosecco of mugs, and because she wanted to celebrate me, and that's the type of clients that I've had and have a lot of these days. It's freaking fucking awesome. So my life right now is my clients, including in the weekends.
Right on.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love my clients. Don't get me wrong, but you need balance, and I don't have it.
You heading up this way anytime soon? You gonna be able to stop by the studio before you travel?
Yes, I'll come visit.
All right.
You want me to come visit to Maine? I'll come visit to Maine. We need to create more images, more insanity.
Yeah, let me finish the house first. So
when are you finishing the house? Because I'm leaving in a year. That's how much time you got, my dear.
God, don't put the pressure on me.
Hey, now you have a deadline.
Oh God. Oh, that makes so much angst just came up. Like, oh God, I've only got a year to finish 2 rooms. Oh, not enough time. No, I'm not up to a whole lot. I've got to do a shoot tomorrow night, last minute shoot. I wanted to refer the shoot out, quite honestly, but I couldn't find somebody, and I didn't want to leave this family in the lurch. So I'm doing something I don't normally do, which is working on the weekend and doing a family shoot, which I don't normally do. So all the things, but trying to just serve a client in need. And so I know it'll work out just great. Other than that, doing some landscaping, working on the house, and prepping for this trip out west to go see some of my favorite people on the planet. And it's going to be great going out to Phoenix to see Sue and Nikki and Donna Maria and Christina and Kat and Kevin and Oren, and there's the whole crew that's going to be out there for the self-value workshop. It's I to say I'm excited is not doing excitement justice. I'm literally vibrating with excitement for this next week. And it's not necessarily, I don't necessarily think, now I could totally be wrong, right? This is kind of the workshop that Sue's been building her entire career, right? And is exploding with all this new information. I can't wait to be there, but because I've done so much work over the past 5 years, I don't know how much new I'm going to hear, but everything that Sue's been able to tell me has been a better interpretation of the work that I've already done and makes a lot more logical sense to me, right? And she's able to put these very complex topics into bite-sized chunks that I can better digest. And it's fascinating. So we're focusing on love and money. And, you know, I cannot be more
body
excited.
mindset videos on the TPM is like
mind-blowing, right?
When I back in the days joined Sue Bryce Education before it became TPM, the money mindset, like all the self-value stuff, that was what I tapped into. How to build like my IPS, building my business, because I didn't know anything about that at that time. I didn't really watch any of the shooting videos because I was already a photographer at the time. I already knew how. But her,
nope. I was just giving you the floor all to yourself. I'm just playing over here. So
that's terrifying. Okay. Hi, welcome to my apartment. And my new Sigma lens. But yeah, so back when I joined, it was her self-value stuff that changed my life. So when I saw that she put out the self-value course, it got me really excited because you can feel it when she talks about these things. That's where she is aligned. Like that's where her power vibrates. And I remember when I got divorced, after I got divorced, I had to get all my finances in shape. I listened to a lot of her money mindset videos or just talks, and they blew my mind. And I tell people about them, people that aren't related to photography. I'm like, take it, eat it up, all of it. So I'm so happy for you that you're going. And
there's room in the workshop. Come on out. Come on out.
Have I time? I might have time. Also, hug Donna Maria for me because I have never actually met her, but we have.
So Donna Maria and I cut from the same cloth. Clearly, I'm not a African American woman. We're cut from the same cloth, though. So she and I, it's like a kindred soul, just another sister to me. And I would love, we've been talking about maybe her taking her motorcycle and riding up the East Coast and coming to visit. And so if I do that, because she is who she is, I'd love to see if I can get some other folks up here and throw a little bit of a welcome party. So I know that you'll be on that list as well.
Heck yeah. I'll drive 6 hours to get there. Heck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, this has been awesome. I think I need to put some food in my belly before I open another bottle of wine. So maybe not. But having been doing this for a couple of hours, I think I'm going to call it a night and get to getting. Thank you for being here. Thanks to everybody for being here. And while we're here, I'm going to see if I can do something. Don't go anywhere. I am going to, let's see. Can I do this? And then can I share a screen? I don't know how to do any of this. Like, I need to really get better.
And you call yourself a tech person.
Shut it.
Work tech?
Shut up.
Never.
I know. Okay. Yes. And then this and Google Chrome and use the password and
what are you sharing?
Later. I'm clearly not sharing anything because I got a new Mac. I got a Mac Mini, and so I'm still getting used to like everything. So everything that I do is like for the first time. So I just went to share something, and nope, it's going to have me shut down Chrome and restart and do all that sort of stuff. So
Correct
we're
me
going
if
to
I'm
try.
wrong. You're not a
some-
Mac user, are you?
Don't even get me started. I'm going to see if I can find it here. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay,
What are
I
you
was going to
trying
show the picture of your generator interview. It's episode 4. So if you go to generatorpodcast.com, you can listen to Sisla's whole episode. If you go to my YouTube channel at Stone Tree Creative on YouTube, you can watch the whole interview. We had a great conversation talking about a whole ton of stuff. So you are truly one of my favorite people on the planet. Thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon.
Oh, I love doing this. You know that. You can always ask me to do this. I'm just concerned that people would be like, her again.
No, you made me lose half my listeners, but whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Seriously? Oh no.
I lose listeners because and
Are you okay? Hey, dude.
no, what I'm saying is I often go off on these tangents. And people are like, I was listening to him talk about fear, and now he's talking about AI, and then he's talking about wine. So can he keep it together?
No, not on these talks.
Not
I
on
feel
these
like
talks.
the generator talks are a little more.
Well,
Right.
this ain't the Artist Forge, and this ain't Generator. This is me. This is what you get. You
On a
sit down with me. This
Friday
is what you get.
evening, drinking wine.
That's all I get. And yeah, I'm out of wine, so we'll probably move on to other things.
I have some.
I don't know.
That
I'm not driving anywhere.
No, I'm not either. I might.
Driving anywhere, but I'm gonna take a trip.
So, should I go to TPM real quick?
Portrait Masters?
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
without a doubt.
I'm a big, so with the exception of 2017, which was I think the first Portrait Masters, I've been to all of them, right? The shootouts, the Portrait Masters in Arizona. There has never been one where I was like, meh, I shouldn't have gone, or meh, it was a waste of money. Every single time it has been absolutely incredible. If not for the speakers, for the people. If not for the people, it's for the trade show. There is, in my opinion, not a better photo conference out there. Pound for pound, right? So you can say WPPI is bigger, right? Imaging is massive, right? You've got all of these speakers, all these people. Sure, a lot of people is good. The exclusivity of TPM being capped at a certain amount of people, right? Having everything at one venue so that you can access the speakers, your friends, and the trade show and all the events without ever having to leave the facility is such a godsend, you know? So I've never had a bad time. The fact that George Varanakis and Aaron Anderson are back on the production team and helping create all of this for Emerald is unbelievable, because we saw last year that Emerald struggled a little bit with the transition between going from SBE to TPM to Emerald owned TPM. Right. So knowing that they reached back out to George and Aaron for some guidance, and Aaron is doing a lot of stuff for Emerald now, that the tone that we all love is going to be strong again. And that the offerings and that the sponsors that are going to be there are fantastic. I just know that it's going to be incredible. Now, this year is going to be different for me. I've gone as a participant every year. This year, I'm going to go out and going to work it. I'm just going to work it. But
model?
No, they asked me to work in one of the booths, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I still have zero details, but I know I'm going to be going out there and being part of the team, which is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to help in whatever way I can. So being able to go out there and assist in whatever fashion I can and help contribute to make this the best portrait conference in the industry, I'll do. So that's why I'm heading out there. Now, is it the right thing for you? I don't know. You got some expenses coming up. You're moving to Scandalland. Like, you are going to have a lot on your plate. But in this world, in the portrait world that we are immersed in, one, you're a force of nature. Two, people want you there. And I think it would be incredible for you to be there. And three, fuck yeah, let's go party. So,
Fine.
that all being said, I mean, it's I don't even know what month this is. May, June, July. You got a couple of months. Tickets are going on sale soon, right? You've got your choice of regular ticket or VIP, right? So, I think it would be great to go out. You'd have no problem finding a roommate.
I already know who I'm gonna roommate with.
Oh, I know who you're gonna be rooming with too.
I didn't have I don't have a say in it.
Oh, I know you don't.
Mind it, but I don't have a say in it.
So that all being said, I think you should go to TPM. That is, after going to WPPI for a couple of years, TPM is still my favorite conference. Okay. There's literally nothing like it.
WPPI changed my life. I know that sounds crazy, and not because of WPPI, but because of the people that I met.
Think of that. Think of Portrait Masters as 10 times the experience you had at WPPI. It is what it is. It is what it is. So,
and it's Phoenix, right?
It's in Phoenix. Yep. At the Arizona Grand Resort.
So, new state. I need to see more states. Fine.
All right, kiddo. So I'm done with my menage a trois. This.
That's a decent bottle of wine.
I don't mind it. You know, for a $9 bottle of wine,
it's
like
decent.
It's a good way to go. And
are we going there now?
What's that?
Are we going there now?
No, I'm just saying, like, a $9 bottle of wine. Like, so I used to work in like wine bars and all sorts of stuff. And, you know, I've had amazing wines that were $100 of $100 per bottle, like hundreds of dollars per bottle, right? Which is kind of no big deal. It's not like I'm puffing up my chest. But to me, in my uncivilized primal palate, this tastes just as good. I do not drink to savor the oak and cherry notes of a wine. I drink and I say, does it make me gag? And is it going to get me a little bit funny? Yep. Okay. So I'd rather spend $9 than $100. Mm-hmm. Menage a Trois is great. I like the Apothic series, Apothic Dark, Apothic Red, Apothic Crush.
They're good. I like those.
The 19 Crimes variety tends to be good. Now, I know that people that like wine are listening to me and they're going, this idiot has absolutely no idea about wines. And they're not wrong. Get me on bourbon, that's where you'll get me to be a snob.
Get me on scotch.
Same kind of thing, right? So wine is a means to an end. Yes. Wine is the Hyundai of drunks.
Hey, I have two boxes. I have a white box and I have a black box, a red box. And they're both Boda boxes, and one of them is Nighthawk. And
that's not bad. I like that.
It's not bad. And you know what? You get a shit ton of decent wine for the money.
Well, you're getting 3.5 bottles in your box. So
it's a while for me to drink
it. So if you know, and if you use the glasses like I do, like I've got a 32-ounce wine glass with a screw cover on it. It's a mason jar, really, is all it is. And I fill that bad boy up. And let's see if we can still stay standing by the time I see the bottom of this. I don't know. It's not going to happen.
It sounds like a conversation for another night. Like, would we do that?
There's not much conversation at the end of that night. It's just kind of like gibberish.
It sounds kind of fun.
Perfect. Portrait Masters it is. We'll bring a Boda box out and we'll, God knows there's weirder stuff that's happened. I can tell you that much. It is a fun time that I'm hoping that a lot of people that are on this call that are in our world will be out there, because there is literally nothing better. It is so much fun. So much fun.
I'll come. And now I want to go out because I just have a new, like my landlord just told me that I have a new big package on my staircase, and I know it's from Intuition Backdrops.
Well, go play with your big package. I am going to
Also long and kind of.
ain't the link. And on that note, I'm going to let you go.
Yes, bye.
I can't wait to see pictures of your Intuition backdrop. Thank you,
Yes.
Sisela. I will I'll talk to you soon, okay?
See you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, folks. That's going to be it for me. 2 hours is plenty of listening to me ramble. Thank you, Sisela, for joining us. Thank you guys for hanging out for me as long as you have. Really, I just jumped on here to do some Friday afternoon cocktails. If you like this, let me know. If you hated it, let me know. But I'll thinking about doing this most Fridays. Next Friday, I will not, because I will be on a flight back from Sue Bryce's self-value workshop. So I will not be here. However, I'm going to try to do these streams more often. If you want to, please follow Generator Podcast on Instagram. I finally got that account going. I'm trying to build it up a little bit, get the algorithm working in my favor. Follow it. If you want to be a guest on Generator, let me know. Just send me an email, matt@StoneTreeCreative, or IM me or DM me anywhere that I'm available, any one of the channels that I'm on. So please let me know. I really do want to grow Generator into a great platform for a lot of creatives. Please help me out with that. It is only a labor of love. I don't get paid for it. I'm just doing it because I love talking to people and hearing their stories. So follow that Generator Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Stone Tree Creative. Go visit my stuff. Send me hate mail. Doesn't matter to me. I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. It's going to be beautiful, I know, here in Maine. So I'm going to get out a little bit. But thank you so much. It means the world to me that you hang out and listen to me just ramble on. So enjoy yourselves this weekend. Stay safe. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep creating. And I'll see y'all soon. All right. Take care.